Smart 24, driving business.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning into Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business. My name is Anthony, and I'm your host, and I'm very glad that you're joining me this Monday evening for a fresh update on the financial markets in the East African region, on the Ugandan scene, and across the globe. My name is Anthony, and remember to follow me on Twitter or X at Anthony Sebale. You can also follow me at exactly on the YouTube channel, that is at Smart 24 TV Live, and give us comments there. We'll be definitely very glad to give you feedback and get feedback from you as well. A lot is in stock for us tonight, and one of the things we're going to be looking at is the activity on the Uganda Securities Exchange. The exchange has had an incredible amount of shares traded today, and we're going to be seeing what that means for you and for investors as well, and what we'll be looking up for tomorrow. We'll also be looking at a few things that are in the bond market. Did you know right now, currently, at least Uganda is going to be listing bonds on international indices? I'm talking about the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the FTSE, and the like. Did you know about that? Did you know that the bond market is one of the highest interest paying investment right now in the financial markets currently, as per the global scale, but also on the Ugandan scale? That and more is coming up on the financial market show. Let's have a look at the performances from both the Uganda Stock Exchange and Nairobi Stock Exchange, and probably the rest of Africa. But let's start with the trading today. On Monday, today, at least at the end of the day, we've had a total of 1,064,000 shares traded, approximately, and the value of this market has been at least over 61.7 million Ugandan shillings. That is the turnover that has been traded today. Compared with the previous day, USE has at least witnessed an 80% decline, however, in the volume, and a 61% decline in the turnover. The current market capitalization, however, of the exchange is still at 15.9 trillion Ugandan shillings. Now, what is interesting about today's trading is the fact that much as the volumes and the turnover declined by 80 and 61% respectively, the number of participating companies increased from an average of 4 to 3 last week to 6 Uganda Securities Exchange equities that participated in trade. And that is something I really look at as a win, when you have 6 companies that people have showed interest in buying shares, at least on our average scale, where we are having at least 2, 4, 3, 8 companies that are participating in daily trade. It's a really, really good performance for me personally to look at. At the end of the day, however, we had 5 gainers as well and 3 losers on the market. And now on the top gainers side, Equity Bank Limited Centum Investments led the gainers with a 9.96% appreciation in price, closing off the day at 211.47 Ugandan shillings. Jubilee Holdings Limited stock as well appreciated by 5.97%, up to 4,580.57 Ugandan shillings. East African Breweries Limited at least appreciated 1.97% as well, upwards to 2,830.42 Ugandan shillings. Kenya Airways at least appreciated as well by 0.68%, up to at least 92.46 Ugandan shillings. a lot of things have been happening at Kenya Airways, and we've been seeing a couple of changes within the company. And some of the news coming in have been about the company actually being bought out by an American airline, which hasn't been confirmed yet, but at least as per the President William Ruto, when he was attending the US summit last year, he put it to investors and the audience that they could be actually looking at one of the American airlines to actually buy into the company. Now, NMG, Nation Media Group, at least appreciated 0.67% upwards to 482.8 Ugandan shillings per share. And that's it from the top gainers. All these are cross listings from Kenya. And the bottom losers, on the other hand, we have Equity Bank Limited as well, coming in at 1.97% depreciation in price, down to 898.01 shillings. KCB Group also depreciated by 0.81%, down to at least 486.42 Ugandan shillings. Stanbic Bank Uganda also depreciated by 0.22%, down to 32 shillings. Let's have a look at Stanbic Bank Uganda in details here. Now, Stanbic currently holds a market capitalization of 16.4 trillion, which represents about 10.3% of the entire exchange, making the company the fourth most valuable on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Now, the Stanbic Bank today traded 48,000 shares and closed off at 1.54 million Ugandan shillings turnover. Recent performance for the company has seen a few days where the company has lost or shed off some bit of value. In 1 week, for example, the company has dropped 0.03% of their trading price. However, in the long run, the company is still doing quite well, and their share price is at 32 Ugandan shillings per share, representing 6 months gain of over 23.1% and a 1 year gain of over 52.4%. In terms of trading, Stanbic Bank is still standing out with the second most traded on stock. And this is currently within the last 3 months, from the 3rd of November to the 10th to the 12th of February, at least seen over 54.6 million shares that have been traded at a value of 1.77 billion Ugandan shillings over the period, with an average of at least 866,000 shares that have been traded per trading day. That's it from Stanbic Bank Uganda. It maintains the second position in terms of the traded volumes there on the exchange, but also the fourth most valuable stock on the exchange. We had a couple of participants in the trading today, with Bank of Baroda having actually the highest volume. Bank of Baroda today had over 666,000 shares that have been traded, ending the day with 9.99 million Ugandan shillings as their turnover. The company currently has 15 billion shares outstanding, but after issuing a bonus issue last year on the 6th of June, the company is seeking 125 billion in order to boost its minimum capital that will be able to meet the minimum capital requirements for the Bank of Uganda for the year 2024. All commercial banks and institutions have in the Tier 4 commercial banks category have been actually ticked up to raise their minimum capital requirements from 25 billion to 150 billion. So the company is seeking 125 billion more money to actually get to raise that minimum capital there. Now, the bank currently is the number one most traded on stock in the last 3 months, with a total volume of 60.1 million shares that are valued at 901 million Ugandan shillings over the 3 months period. And on average, they have been trading at least 954,000 shares per trading session. A volume high of 18.8 million was achieved on the 19th of December for the same period. Bank of Baroda currently has a price value of 15 shillings and a total market value or market capitalization of over 225 billion Ugandan shillings, which represents about 1.42% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange equity market. Now, that means that Bank of Baroda Uganda is definitely one of the most highly valuable companies, but it's coming in the 11th position in terms of value. However, it has seen its activity go up recently because of the lower pricing of the stock. The stock was initially valued at 85 shillings before coming down to an average of 15 to 16 shillings after the bonus issue was actually issued. That's it from Bank of Baroda Uganda. Bank of Baroda was not the only participant. We did have MTN Uganda as well. MTN Uganda came in with a volume of at least 250,542 shares, valued at 42.6 million Ugandan shillings. The shares outstanding currently are 22.4 billion, and currently we have a market capitalization of 3.81 trillion Ugandan shillings, which makes it the #1 most valuable stock on the exchange, which currently represents 23.9%, almost a quarter of the equity market on the Uganda Stock Exchange. Now, when you look at the profiling for MTN Uganda's stock, last week day of trading, Monday, it closed at 170 shillings. And MTN Uganda is currently in the 3rd position in the most traded on stocks over the past 3 months, with a total volume of at least 8.42 million shares valued at 1.44 billion over the period, with an average of 133,000 shares that have been traded per trading session, and a volume high of 2.73 million, which was achieved on the 23rd of November within the same period. Now, the table below, when you look at this table here, we're looking at the volumes. At least 250 were traded today. On Friday, they had about 28,000, then 7,500. Their highest volume this week is still today. When you look at the past 1 week, MTN's highest volume is currently still today. That's when they have traded the highest number of shares. Airtel Uganda, yes, as well, appeared amongst the top traders, with Airtel Uganda's volume at 62,550 shares that have been traded. Airtel is the newest listing on the Uganda Stock Exchange, having its listing date as 7th November 2023. The company is the second telecom to list on the Uganda Stock Exchange. Now, with an average volume of over about, let's see, 518,806 shares that are being traded on since the beginning of the year, this particular period. Airtel Uganda is still currently the 8th most traded on stock on the Uganda Stock Exchange. The stock is the 9th most valuable, however, with a total market capitalization of 392 billion Ugandan shillings and representing about 2.47% of the equity market on the Uganda Stock Exchange. Currently, Airtel is valued at 90 shillings per share. That's the current market price. And you can go out to order between 85 and 95 shillings. And currently, when you look at their trading volume of 62,550 shares, it fetched them over 5.63 million Ugandan shillings today. The shares outstanding for Airtel Uganda are 4.36 billion, and market value is 392 billion Ugandan shillings. Currently, when you look at the stock trading for the company so far, there's a lot of hope. Also, their dividend has been going up, with the dividend yield going up as well, which has been a pretty good move for the company here in terms of how they have been looking at things at the moment. Airtel Uganda is promising, a very, very good company to invest in, one of the fastest growing companies in the country, with the current number of subscribers coming after MTN. So it's a very good move for you to invest in a company such as Airtel, MTN, and the rest of the companies here on the exchange. Stanbic Bank came in the other position with 48,000 shares. Other participants in trade included Uganda Clays. Uganda Clays traded 300 shares. However, the price of the day ended still at 13 Ugandan shillings. And the other trader was Cipla Quality Chemical Industries with 37,300 shares traded. However, the price was maintained at 52.5 Ugandan shillings. Now, regarding the performance of the market indices, the USE market, all share market index, at least paired or lost about 0.3%, down to points of about 875 points, representing a 1-week gain of 1.25%, a 4-week loss of 1.71%, and an overall year-to-date gain of 0.39%. Now, the USE Local Company Index, the LCI, also decreased by 0.03% to at least 267 points, making it a 1-week loss of 0.37% and a 4-week loss of 1.83%, and yet a year-to-date loss of about 1.46%. And that's it from the Uganda Stock Exchange. Now, the top story of the day here for us on the regarding the Uganda financial markets is the fact that Uganda is broadening its strategy of investing in bonds, and in order to boost dollar reserves, it's looking at listing bonds on multiple emerging and frontier market indices. The move seeks to woo investors that have recently withdrawn from the Ugandan markets to move to high interest paying markets. Uganda's foreign exchange reserves declined to $3.6 billion in January, down to 3 months of import over cover from the December period, which is below East Africa's threshold of 4 months. Ministry of Finance data shows the offshore investors' holding of domestic debt declined significantly from 11.2% to 6.3% in June last year, following persistent increase in the interest rates in more advanced economies. Uganda is presently in talks to list on the JP Morgan Emerging Markets Global Index after first being included in the AFDB's Ababi Index. The indices offer worldwide exposure to a country's securities, potentially drawing in additional investments, foreign investments, and reducing the cost of government borrowing. To sustainably build the foreign exchange reserves, there is current engagements in wider market options of international swaps and derivatives, agreements to facilitate derivative trading as a risk management hedging, and funding tool. This, in addition to the global master repurchase agreement, will be able to help boost Uganda's foreign currency reserves. This is according to Mr. Michael Tinji Ego, the Bank of Uganda Deputy Governor. Now, this was revealed during the ABSA Financial Markets Index 2023 Economic Outlook Forum in Kampala last week at the Kampala Sheraton Hotel. Now, this was following a very good performance by Uganda, coming in the 4th position out of 28 companies that are tracked by the ABSA Financial Markets Index. Now, swaps and derivatives, when we talk about swaps and derivatives, what are we talking about here? These allow entities to hedge. The swaps and derivatives allow entities to hedge against various risks, including interest rate, currency, commodity price, and credit risks. According to Mr. Michael Atinji Ego, Uganda is in the process of adopting the Forex Exchange Global Code of Conduct to support the ethical trading in the financial markets. In July last year, Uganda Securities began to gain international exposure after they were listed on the FTSE Frontier Emerging Markets Government Bond Index. Bank of Uganda is taking steps to address the dollar scarcity that began in the first week of June 2022, prompting the central bank to scale back its sell-side interventions in the foreign exchange markets. The reserves were running low because normally we build them by purchasing the dollars, which comes in through the portfolio investors. But because the inflationary environment in the advanced economies has been looming, the central banks of those economies began to raise interest rates, thereby reducing the appetite of foreign investors within other markets. And so when we get to list some of these instruments or securities on these other exchanges, this will be able to attract more foreign investors to be able to invest within our markets. And whenever you have more foreign investors investing, the dollar reserves are going to grow much stronger and much better to support the economy. That's the top story for the day, coming in from the bond market. Now, looking at the Nairobi Securities Exchange here, on the very first day of trading this week, Nairobi actually did have 42 equities participate in trading. However, there were over just about 2.1 million shares traded and a total value of 18.7 million Kenyan shillings, which, comparing with Friday, shows an 80% decline in the volume and an 87% decline in the turnover, as well as a 6% improvement in the number of deals. In aggregate, 42 equities participated in trading, ending the day with 16 gainers and 20 losers. Not a very good outlook there for Kenya, thus negatively impacting some of the indices. However, the all-share index on the Nairobi Securities Exchange inched upwards by 0.13 points, closing at 91.31 points. This is on the back of very strong gainers on the markets, including Samia Africa, Sanlam, TPS East Africa, Serena, East African Cables, and the like. On the losing side, however, Liberty Kenya Holdings came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 8.39% at a 5.02 Kenyan shillings price closure at the end of the day. And now followed by Scan Group, which was at a 7.94% depreciation, and Wutumi Supermarket at a 4.76%. And Total Kenya with a 4.23% depreciation in price. Kenya Power at least recorded the highest volume with 686,000 shares, and followed by Ken General Group with 290,000, as well as KCB Group with 265,000 shares. Safaricom in the fourth place with 242,000 as well. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning into Smart 24 TV and giving us this time. We're very, very honored. We're looking for more partnerships with this show. And these include with the CMA and a couple of other agents within and players within the markets, to see that we get you informed ahead of time, to see that we always give you the information that is first-hand and very valuable to you as our viewer and as a financial markets enthusiast. My name is Anthony. I'll catch you next time. Have a good night. Bye for now.
Smart 24, driving business.
The cavalry has arrived. Move out!
This is Alpha Team. We are in position and we are go for extraction.
Carry a world of entertainment with you wherever you go with DSTV Stream. Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel, so visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 35